Hey everybody, this is Chris Bucci, and I just got a phone call that my new pinball machine is here. It is a dialed in from Jersey Jack Pinball. If you've been following along on this channel, you know that Pat Lawler is probably my favorite pinball designer, and when he was going on board to design a game for Jersey Jack, I was really interested. The reveal was interesting, I thought it was cool, but when I continued to see the gameplay, and I got in line at conventions to play it, I knew that this had to be in my collection. So let's get outside and pick this game up. Let's get dialed in. All right, so we've got cabinet leg casters enclosed, Bob. Not packed, enclosed. Glue. Casters. Legs. Look at this, Bob. Oh. Alright, so this obviously, I'm going to guess it says don't use it as a handle. Okay, where'd they get this from? That's not on anyone else's game, by the way, it's just mine. Coin box. It's really nice, all nice and separate. I heard there's a plate you put, yeah. These are the plates you put if you want to put the instruction card in the game. If you don't, then there's artwork underneath it. And then we've got... Can you find on the front of the box where it said package instructions, open this first before you unbox it? Can you find that for me, please? Which is kind of funny. Because it probably says, do whatever you do, don't open these baggies. Because there's a toxic gas they use to seal them closed. You need to release the gas using our patented gas releaser, which I'm sure your distributor sold to you, before you can cut open these bags. Yeah, look at that. Play, free game. Nice, I don't see... Balls are pretty self-explanatory. Got these two screws. Oh, so you can. Oh, this is a camera cover. If you don't want the camera to take any pictures, you can put this in front of the camera. That's smart. 2 half-moon Mylars. I'm guessing in case you want to put them in front of your slingshots. And up here we've got 5 bars, which is. Alright, this is the dialed in limited edition. Mine is number 132. I believe they're making 2,000 or 2,500 of these and then they're going to stop. So it's a small number. And then back here we have the comic book that was given away, I think at Expo last year when they announced the game. So, shall we? Jack, I haven't been to a library in 25 years. You're killing me. Look up top there. See that? Jersey Jack limited edition with my number plaque.
this is.
There we go. It's working.
Wow. That's a lot of lights.
Yeah.
Thanks for shopping at Crazy Bob's.
Loud.
What's the holdup?
Working. Still shot. So now the phone is lit.
Shoot the left ramp. Shoot the right ramp.
At this hour, a tornado continues to stir up trouble for Trailer Park residents. Early Warning Network has canceled.
Big Bang is ready.
This game does a good job of telling you where to shoot.
Yeah, I'll say.
You know what I like about the theater? If you look now, you can see the shot behind it. But then when there's something in the theater, you can't see the shot. Ah, good ball.
Incoming call. Start multi-ball.
Yeah, that's the multi ball.
Oh, that's cool.
See how they're
The
spinning?
drones are cool.
Yeah, isn't that
Nicely done.
neat? There.
Nice.
Hello, I'm calling from Dialed In Electronics. We have detected a problem with your phone.
Multi-ball.
Now, your dial.
Three, two, one. Impact.
Kickback is lit. Crazy. Yo, I might be a pizza delivery guy, but I know an EMP strike when I see it.
An electromagnetic pulse about...
Yo, there's a power surge.
Shoot the
Wow.
Oh yeah, the magnets go crazy during EMP mode.
The EMP strike is over. Bada bing, bada boom. We're back in business.
Okay, it's been a few weeks since the last videos we shot, and I need to put this back on. Why? Well, if you'll notice here, I got a little Jersey Jack autograph on there. That will be a little bit of a clue on what the next video is going to be. Go. All right, and then we have the LED. I forgot about this. We got this LED board. There we go. So the game has been playing fantastic. I have absolutely no regrets. There were a few things I had with my game, and I just want to sort of point it out because I had to make a couple of tweaks. The upper right flipper was misaligned. It was kind of sticking out a bit at its resting point. I noticed that the shot to that left ramp wasn't as smooth as it was on other dialed ins that I had played. Turns out it's just because the flipper was sticking out a bit. I just had to adjust that back. It's not a big deal, but if your shot is not smooth, that might be it. Also, the SIM card shot, I think I made 0 out of 1,000 tries, aside from it dribbling in there. So I picked up a Cliffy protector because some people said that the stock protectors were a little thicker, and they are definitely thicker, and I swapped it out, and honestly, I made it once, straight on from the flipper. I was so excited. Sadly, I wasn't recording at the time. The rest of the time, I still can't make it, so I think it just proves that that is just a difficult shot to make, but whatever. Cliffy makes great stuff. I didn't replace the phone scoop protector because truthfully, I don't have any trouble with it. It's cut nicely down the middle. But the SIM card one, I don't know. Hopefully that will help a little bit with that shot. I put some Mylar under the Station 3 ramp because the ball just drops right off of that exit. And I noticed there was no Mylar there, and I thought, what the heck? So I put a little square of Mylar right underneath where that ball drops off. You can't even really see it, so it's not a big deal. I actually had a couple of wrinkles and scratches on my head decals. I mean, not horrible, but something happened in delivery or in packing or something. So I talked to my distributor. Thank you, Hemisphere Amusements. Really great guys, by the way. Had a great experience with them. And Jersey Jack was awesome. They sent me brand spanking new head decals in case I ever want to swap them out. So that's nice. And also my LED strip in the back box, the two little tiny white LEDs were out. Not sure why, but they also sent me a brand new strip, and I just tore that one off because it's actually glued and bent down over the metal tabs. So I had to tear that off and put a brand new one on, and now it's perfect. So I had to make a couple of tweaks. I had a couple of issues, but nothing major. But I mean, you know, that's pinball. You know, you really have to dial in games, no pun intended, sometimes in order to get them to play the way you want them. In my case, it took a little bit of adjusting, a little bending, a couple tweaks that happened with the game. But again, nothing major. It's all very minor stuff. I'm very happy with this game. I have the Dialed In app. Let's click on it. It says searching for Dialed In. So it's searching for the Bluetooth, I'm guessing.
Enjoy your new phone.
Supposedly I'm supposed to hit. Oh, here we go. Press and hold both left buttons. One. Welcome back, Chris Bucci. Can you beat your last score? Huh. That's pretty wild. This is the comic book that came with the game. If we open it up here, let's talk a little bit real quick before the video's over about what this game is about. And they actually played this on the back glass as well during the track mode, which is really neat. So if you thumb through the comic book or look at it on the display, you'll notice that basically Dialed In Electronics has this prototype phone that is kind of cool. They misplaced it. Crazy Bob here gets a hold of it. He actually sort of puts it in his display case. And then this guy here, who's pretty much you in the game, stumbles upon it. It activates, and now it can control a lot of stuff. It can stop disasters from happening. It can start disasters. So it's kind of interesting. It still leaves it sort of for you to find out as you play the game, which is what I like. But that's the basic idea, is you essentially have found this phone in Crazy Bob's, you purchased it, and now you have control over stopping things and starting things. And that's essentially why, if we look at the game really quickly, the cell phone is the major gimmick here of the game. It's not the only thing on the game, but it literally has all the modes on the game. It's very similar to like Addams Family, which had the electric chair scoop, started all the modes. This is a cell phone. All the modes are inside of it. But that's the basic thing. You want to charge the phone by hitting the QED guy here, who's the QED electronics guy. That charges the phone. You can also overcharge the phone, which is another new feature on the newest code. You shoot the ball into the scoop, and that starts one of the modes.
If that soccer game is canceled, that volcano won't be the only thing erupting.
Over here is Crazy Bob's, who obviously you bought the phone from. Crazy Bob's has a bunch of stuff here, extra ball, there's a quick multi-ball, you can lock balls in there, and then there's crazy modes. There's an emoji mode and a selfie mode, and a lot of really cool little modes in there, and that's a trap door that opens and closes a la Funhouse, which is what it reminds me of. So you got Crazy Bob awards over there, there's some multi-balls there. Over here you got a bunch of drones that act a little bit like the Ripley's Believe It or Not idle shot, because the ball sort of hits here and the magnet flings it around. And there's a bunch of different sort of awards that creep up if you shoot this area. The Quantum Reality Theater here is a Pinball 2000 sort of homage. Stuff appears in the window or in the theater, and then disappears as you hit it or interacts with the ball. There's a magnet underneath. Sometimes the magnet will stop the ball and drop it down. And also during some modes, the magnet will activate under there. Sometimes it'll fling it around, a la, well, quite frankly, Ripley's Believe It or Not and The Shadow. It'll fling it around to this flipper here. And speaking of this flipper, we talked about this when we were trying to get the SIM card shot figured out. You can shoot the lock up here, you can shoot the SIM card, yeah, right here, and then the Big Bang here. These two lights will light the Big Bang shot, which is up in this corner, and the Big Bang essentially completes a mode for you in one shot if you have it lit. It's pretty cool. And the reason this SIM card shot is important is because in order to finish the modes, you have to complete the mode, which lights the SIM card shot, then you have to collect the SIM card shot, which upgrades the phone. Yeah, and that's a tricky shot, so you have to get all the SIM cards in order to get the final ultimate wizard mode, which again, I'll save for another time. And you have a couple other things. You know, this is the quantum mechanic here. She actually thwarts the ball sometimes by lowering and raising this platform, you know. You got a cluster of bumpers up here. There's a lot of stuff for a standard body playfield to shoot for on this game. Of course, Station 3 here is your lock shot. You have that as well. The display itself is really cool. There's a lot of great effects in here, and as you play the game, it sort of zooms around Quantum City and shows you things. Like when you're in the bumpers, for example, there's parts where the bumpers are. When you're in the station here, there's parts where the station. There's a lot of ticker tape stuff along the bottom, which is really funny. And the game does a really good job telling you where to shoot, what to shoot for.
Shoot, stand up.
In fact, the Mandy here in the cell phone who speaks is actually the same voice who did the Safecracker voice, which I think is really cool because I had Safecracker for a long time.
You have been terminated. Have a nice day.
There's a lot more going on in this game than just that, but we'll save that for a gameplay video later. But there's a sort of quick rundown on Dialed In. The game shoots smooth as butter. It's a really extremely wonderfully shooting game. Well, that's it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing and setup of my new Dialed In limited edition. Thanks for watching, and keep on flipping.
With your Quantum City News, I'm Mike Banter, signing off.